But whoa! My goodness, look at that. What is happening, fishing friends? Welcome to another episode of DEBO'S Fishing, and I am excited, super excited to come to you today because of this. This is it. This is the Baitcaster that started everything. I mean, this was it. This was the first Baitcaster. Well, for my old man anyway. This is what started it from my old man. His old first Baitcaster from back in the day. He was lucky enough to still have it, going through the garage and found it. Said, yeah, you want it? I'm like, heck yeah, I want it. I'm going to see if I can get this puppy running. It's in rough shape, not going to lie. You can see there's some old yucky grease down in there, black, and it's probably not been serviced for a few years. In fact, these old Ryobi V-Mags, this is the 3, came out in the 80s. It's a tiny little reel. You can look at it compared to a reel from nowadays. Look at how tiny this thing is. It fits inside the handle. They're little. It's a little guy. Even though it's little, you'll be surprised once you actually get in here and look at it. It's not too far off from what we use today. The V-Mag stands for the Semi V spool, which is graphite. Pretty interesting, huh? Graphite, they used it back then. Graphite spool doesn't spin real freely now. Doesn't actually even spin at all. Hopefully we can get that fixed and spinning a little bit better. The MAG stands for the, well, magnetic cast control. Note, that's patent pending. They hadn't got that patented yet. Take a look at it over here. You know, looks pretty similar from the side. It's got the star drag, tighten, and loosen here, just like normal. There's no audible clicker on it. And it does have your spool tension right here. Same as now. Look at that gear ratio. 4.1 to 1. Oh! This is definitely going to be my deep cranking reel. However, it doesn't hold enough line. The line, you know, not too bad compared to even some of the reels these days. 100 yards, I can get some 12-pound mono or copolymer on there. I can get 100 yards of it on there. That's more than I'll need. So what do you say? Let's get this baby broke open, get it all taken apart, see what it looks like inside. I'll kind of check in with you as I go step by step. Let's get this baby, well, taken apart. Alright, so once you get into this baby, it doesn't look too far off from what we're used to today. I was pretty surprised when I cracked this thing open. So when you're looking at all the parts here, everything is pretty darn similar. You've got your brass main gear, an aluminum shaft there. You've got your drag washers inside, your pinion gear. You've got kind of a modified little tiny yoke there. Of course, your thumb bar and cam here still works in the same way, raises that pinion gear up. Your spool comes through and that rubs on your spool tension knob, putting force on that, slowing down your spool. Flip it around the other side and you've got your magnetic brakes. Remember, this is patent pending. Wonder if this magnetic brake stuff will ever work. But whoa, my goodness, look at that. Check out that magnetic brake over there. Can you imagine if we had one of those now? Whew. And actually, it doesn't look too far off from a magnetic braking system that some of you may be used to if you own that type of reel. Comment below now if you know what type of magnetic braking system that resembles. Maybe you've owned one. But the canister on the side of the spool there fits inside that side plate. Of course, once that spool gets spinning, it creates currents against that magnet to slow it down. And, whoa, hey, hold on, wait a minute. What's that in there? That's not a bearing. No, by golly, it's not at all. So if that's not a bearing, what in the world is that? It's not is that a bushing? Is this one of the new reels that uses just the bushings? No, but that technology's been around for some time. And that's a brass infused bushing. Man, baby's high tech. But it doesn't stop there. Now, there are no bearings on this thing at all. No bearings. Don't have to worry about bearings going bad or cleaning them. But whoa! Another one of those high-tech bushings. Man, that's some old technology. Maybe they should bring the old bushings back. What do y'all think? Yeah, who knows? So you can see when you look inside there, it is a little bit different. The actual spool, when it comes in contact with your frame there, it's actually notched, so it's not like the spools that we're used to now that have kind of the 2 pins that sit inside here, inside there, and they just kind of fall in. This thing is kind of a pain in the rear to get in. You have to get that lined up exactly and push it through. Not real user-friendly, but man, this thing is all sorts of dirty grime, black grease on it when you look down under here. So the same thing here, you've got your pawl inside there, it runs inside the worm gear, moves your line guide back and forth, not too far off from what we're used to today at all. So let's get this all taken apart. I've got some warm water with some Dawn soap in it to get all that grease off. Let's get it cleaned. about 75 million Q-tips. I should have got sponsored by them prior to this project. And all of that. Doesn't this look better? Look at how much cleaner this thing is now. Shiny. Oh, yeah. Now we got to figure out how to get this all put back together. Okay, time for an update. Where are we with this beast? Well, got the side plate taken off, took out the bushing, and put just a little bit of oil inside there. Now this part is not going to move. This is going to sit inside there, and the actual spool shaft is just going to sit inside that and spin. So just a drop of oil. Speaking of the bushing, that's next. What did I do to it? Well, I took that little retaining ring off, took this bushing off, and just oiled under there. Got it all cleaned off. I had all kinds of old, gross stuff under it. And look at that. It actually spins a little bit now. Woo! How about the frame? Is that the frame over there? What's up with the camera? Oh, no, that's the frame. Ha! Okay, well, with the frame, all I did was put on our main shaft here with the gear assembly down here. Put on my cam, and of course I'm going to oil all this, but put on my cam and the thumb bar. So this is actually a very simple operating machine. There's not really many parts to it at all. So of course this spins. When you push this in, that's going to lift our pinion gear that's going to sit inside here. Then of course when you turn the handle, it's going to drop all that back down so you can reel in your fish. So let's get these greased and I'll come back. Okay, progress check. Got the cam on there with a little bit of grease. Thumb bar, thumb press, I don't know, whatever you call this thing, installed with the retaining ring around it. Got the pin that holds the cam to the thumb bar on, as well as the spring. That guy was tricky, but if you have a soldering set, this little tip deal, this thing was money for getting that spring on. I struggled with it for a little bit, but yeah, once you have one of these, you just put it in there and push it down. Next! All right, next step, the pawl. You've heard me talk about the pawl before, and that's all it is, just a little claw-looking deal. That's going to go up inside this circle right here, where your line guide is, inside that little ring. Stick up in there, and those teeth are going to fit vertically, and they're going to go back and forth inside that worm gear. That's what keeps your line guide moving back and forth. So let's get that done with the cap on. As you can see now, when our worm gear turns, that's going to move our line guide back and forth. Next, I got our pinion gear installed with the yoke. So the yoke is this little metal piece right here, holds our pinion gear in place. That's going to end up threading into, with those teeth on that, threading into our main gear that's going to fit here. And then when you press your thumb bar, it's going to lift that up, also lifting up your main gear so that spool can spin freely. Of course, when that goes down, everything will go back down and you can reel like normal. So I installed the anti-reverse claw, and that grabs the ratchet gear here. This is pretty interesting. Remember, this reel does not have any bearings. So as I'm spinning my reel, this goes freely. However, if I try to reel backward, this ratchet gear grabs this anti-reverse claw. So pretty cool. Way to get around having an anti-reverse bearing. I got the little resin washer installed on top of the ratchet gear there. That's going to help hold up the main gear, which is going to go on. I'm going to get this baby greased, and that will intertwine with the teeth of our pinion gear. Let's do it. We've got our fibrous washer on there. I don't know what that's made out of. Anyway, that one on dry. Over top of that is going to be our metal drag washer, also dry. And then our two smaller drag washers that go on here, concave sides facing each other. Okay, a few things going on in this step. I got all of our drag washers put on, our drag collar, which is right here, as well as the washer that goes on top of there. I got our gear that connects to our main gear put on the front, and that's going to drive our worm gear with our line guide here. You can see as that turns, our line guide is now moving. Perfect. That main gear connects to our pinion gear here, and I got our cam springs put on. Let's keep going. Okay, got the spool tension cap screwed back on. Where is it, you might ask? Oh, it's right here. Yeah, sorry. Got the spool tension cap screwed back on. We should be able to place this on top, get that baby screwed on, and this side of the reel should be good. Okay, we're on the home stretch. I went ahead and got the side plate put on here. Everything went on perfectly fine. And I went ahead and put on the other side plate as well. I left a little bit of dirt in there just to show where this came from, just how dirty this thing was. Clean the rest of it up, but check this out. Thumb bar works. Look at how much easier that is now. Holy smokes. Couldn't believe it. And look at this. What? It spins? Oh, here it is. The moment of truth. Do I have any clue what I'm doing? What? Oh yeah. Baby is working now. Look at that. Compared to what it was, this thing is buttery smooth. I was literally having to force it before I did all this. I couldn't be happier. I'm super excited. I learned 3 things from this whole experience. Number 1, it is extremely satisfying to bring something like this back to life. My old man's first baitcaster, barely even working on its last leg. Look at that. I am now going to take this baby out. That brings me to something I want to know. Comment below if you think I should take this out and make a challenge out of catching something on this whole thing. Thing number 2 that I learned. I have a brand new found respect for people that repair reels all day. This took me a couple nights to do. Quite a bit of cleaning. There's a ton of grease on these. I couldn't imagine having to do this all the time. So guys like Adam Colley over at Reel Integrity, I tip my hat to you, sir. Over in the Grovetown, Georgia area, if y'all are around there and need your reels cleaned, I would certainly recommend looking him up. Heck, if I lived over in his area, I would be taking all my stuff to him because honestly, I don't know how I got this all put back together without losing parts. And thing number 3 that I learned is clearly my old man doesn't keep up on reel maintenance. Ha! I'm just kidding you. This one's for you, Pops. Until next time.